Good morning, everyone. My name is Spencer Walsh. Happy Friday to you. On the show, we're covering President Trump's first rally since the end of the special counsel investigation. Also, we're covering another Brexit vote in Parliament and a plastic bag ban in New York State, among other things. We got a great day today, at least in the East Coast. Get up to the 60s. I'm hyped about that. I'm very, very hyped about that. But first, we're starting off in the New York State Attorney General's office, same place where we started off last night, because it's important. I want to highlight it for you. If you didn't hear Newsflash last night, I want to tell you quickly about a lawsuit filed on Thursday accusing the members of the Sackler family, who own the maker of the opioid painkiller OxyContin, of systematic fraud. The suit also includes major pharmaceutical companies that distributed alarming amounts of prescription painkillers. That's the thing. It's really including, for the first time really ever, it's including these pharmaceutical companies and distributors. So yeah, that's going to be very important. So they were doing this and just they distributed alarming amounts of prescription painkillers during a rising abuse epidemic that has killed hundreds of thousands of people across the U.S. Really not caring at all about the fact that this was killing people, not even pausing and thinking, ask twice, and just, let's go, full steam ahead, guys. The state is seeking, among other goals, to claw back money that was transferred from Sackler-owned Purdue Pharma to private offshore accounts to effort to shield the assets from litigation and keep them close in the hands of the Sackler family. And in response, the Sackler family called the allegations a misguided attempt to place blame where it does not belong for a complex public health crisis. I'll let you decide on what you want to believe on that. So, yeah. If you want to get more detail on that, much more detail, please check out our podcast Newsflash, where we talked about it extensively last night. After 3 years of lies and smears and slander, the Russia hoax is finally dead, Trump declared at a rally in Michigan on Thursday, his first since the end of the special counsel's investigation. He said, quote, "The collusion delusion is over." Trump took particular delight in ridiculing Representative Adam Schiff, Democratic California, who faced calls, and we also covered the show last night, to step down as chairman of House Intelligence Committee. It was pretty ridiculous. He just kind of got attacked by his supporters, and he was like, there's still some problems here that I want to address. Sure, a lot of it's ridiculous when he talks, but I mean, I would rather have someone like Adam Schiff as opposed to anybody else. But I mean, it just, if only he could use his investigative powers for better things. That's what I just have to say, because it's just like there are so many other things going on. I mean, it's not like he's the chair of the Oversight Committee, but he's the chair of the Intelligence Committee. I mean, there's not really too much we want to do when there's a major intelligence or counterintelligence case going on. Of course, you're going to kind of go a little bit ham on it, but still, some of the things he said on TV interviews have been a little bit ridiculous, but he should definitely not resign from the committee. I think it's a little ridiculous in and of itself. So there's collusion, totally. Stop. On the other hand, though, the still secret report submitted last week by the special counsel is more than 300 pages long, the Justice Department has acknowledged. Attorney General William Barr released a 4-page summary of the report last weekend and has indicated that redacting the report for classified and grand jury information will most likely take weeks. Trump points with pride to last year's economic growth and promises a faster growth to come, but economic data suggests a slowdown is underway. We're going to take a closer look on that in a second, but what I do want to look into is this still secret report submitted last week by the special counsels, more than 300 pages long. And like this is going to be the essential question about how much the Democrats can really fight for is, do they want to be able to release the report? And they've indicated that they're not going to give up on this until it's fully released. And we see time and time and again, there is going to be it's most likely not going to happen. Like they can try, they can very, 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 very certainly try, but it's most likely it's going to be very, very tough. Jerry Nadler set the deadline for next Tuesday. It's probably not going to happen. Also, what else? I mean, there's definitely a lot of obstacles to go through in the 300-page report, which most likely Attorney General William Barr is not going to have it ready in time. But now, a closer look on this economic slowdown possible. And the thing is now, this is true. Trump owns the economy, and there is signs though that suggest an economic slowdown could be on the way, and especially where we have people like, we just don't know how bad the slowdown is going to be. Especially during a presidential campaign, though, this could be quite dangerous for a sitting president who has been historically unpopular his entire term. He's definitely riding a highway right now, which is a good time to be riding a highway, but especially as the months unfold in this presidential campaign, you can know the Democrats are going to want to capitalize on their economic vision, and especially when there's a nominee selected and the economy crashes. Boy, it'll be tough for him if that's what happens then. And of course, it depends on how bad the crash is. That's what we know. The Federal Reserve, this is some of the evidence from the New York Times, has abruptly stopped its march toward higher interest rates as Trump has demanded. The tax cuts he signed in late 2017 are in full swing. His attempt to rewrite the global rules of trade are underway, and he proclaims himself happy with the new array of tariffs he's imposed. His recent comments suggest he's unconcerned about the slowdown in China and Europe, which he considers economic rivals. But while Trump points with pride to last year's economic growth and promises even faster growth to come, there are signs that his most dependable talking point is eroding. On Thursday, the Commerce Department issued a downward revision of its estimates for economic growth in the fourth quarter, pushing one measure of the full-year growth down as well. Forecasters outside the White House, including officials at the Fed, expect growth to slow even more this year. Economic data suggests the slowdown is underway in the first quarter. Manufacturing is losing some of its steam from last year's rapid growth, and job creation is also moderating. Chief executives of some nations' biggest companies see investment, hiring, and sales growth all slowing this year. 3/4 of business economists say they are more worried about growth undershooting their forecast than overshooting it, and half have revised their forecast downward for this year as well. So, the key word in there is slowing, and it's going to be incredibly interesting to see where this leads us, and where this leads us in terms of how the economy is going to work for normal people. Like, sure, the economy hasn't always really been great for your average person. Wages have been stagnating, and it's been still kind of hard for those people who struggle to get ahead. But if it gets even worse, someone's going to have an answer for it, and it's going to be the guy who's been saying, "Oh, the economy has been great" his entire presidency, and when really his things haven't truly kicked in yet, in my opinion. I mean, some of it's what Obama's done, but that tax cut is not something he probably is going to want to campaigning on, especially if it's a person like Bernie Sanders or something like that, who ends up being the nominee. All right, we turn tides from the economy in the U.S. to the crazy situation in Britain, where Parliament is set to vote again on a Brexit plan. Today was originally the day that Britain was officially set to withdraw from the EU, and said lawmakers will, for the third time, vote on Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit plan, although only part of it. Today's session involves only a legally binding agreement that sets the terms of Britain's departure from the bloc. A political statement for what both sides will want in a future relationship will be left for later. It's going to be scheduled around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to definitely be keeping an eye on it here at SWRN. Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure if this vote passes, Theresa May will resign and leave the next stage of negotiating, quote, a future relationship, unquote, will be left for later and with the new prime minister. So that's going to be very interesting. She'd step down. She said she'd step down in Parliament if we were planned, but her offer may not be enough to get the deal over the line. It's going to be very tough. So it's not entirely clear if the withdrawal agreement passes from here. It would meet the EU's deadline for completing the Brexit process and allow Britain to leave by May 22nd. If it doesn't, it's a potentially chaotic no-deal exit on April 12th is a possibility as well. So the no deal, dead for now. But depending on how this vote fares today, I don't know. It's no deal will be a possibility if this does fail. All right, so we now turn back to the economy here in the U.S. Lyft, the ride-hailing company, is set to debut its new NASDAQ stock exchange, debut on the NASDAQ stock exchange today, becoming the first of a new generation of Silicon Valley darlings to start trading publicly. The company priced its shares at $72 each on Thursday, putting its value at more than $24 billion within the range of old line auto companies like Ford Motor. So that's good. Wonder how Uber would fail. Among those expected to follow in Lyft's footsteps are its main rival Uber, as well as the digital pinboard company Pinterest and the messaging platform Slack. Beyond cementing the place of companies in people's lives, public trading would unleash a new wave of wealth in the tech industry. So that's going to be very interesting. Not like those guys need it, so they are really incredible. Going to be really fabulously and incredibly rich. So it's a little unnerving, just to say the least. Also, great news story I recommend in the New York Times about the Pentagon's Africa Command recently outfitting gunships with devices that allow for covert strikes against the Shabab in Somalia. The Spencers can be discreetly fitted into unarmed surveillance planes as well. That's a great way to bomb more people. Oh my god. Yeah, like the problem is we should not be talking about these new weapons. At least in my opinion, I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me crazy that maybe we should be using these lessons less and less. And the fact that we spend time with this is really counterproductive and not what we should be doing. So that's just that simple. So it's time to go through some quick hits now. We're going to do it very quickly, of course. Quick hits here. We're starting with plastic bag ban in New York State. It's going to prohibit many single-use plastic bags from retail sales by next March. It's going to be the second statewide ban in the country after California. President Trump has reversed his decision in his administration, proposed budget cut to cut the money allocated to the nonprofit organization for the Special Olympics. It's going to get back down finally. Hopefully, he'll never try anything that stupid again. And this is pretty crazy. The discovery of a genetic mutation in a Scottish woman who has felt little pain or anxiety until now may lead to new treatment. So that's interesting. So she's felt literally no pain, almost no pain, from death, from birth till now, and this could now lead to new treatments. For other people, it is not her. I hope she's dumb enough to get treated, because it's all right by me. That's pretty crazy. So the Popocatépetl volcano in Mexico. The name means smoking mountain in Nahuatl, the language of the Aztecs, sprang back to life in 1994 after half a century of inactivity. Over the past weeks, the volcano has become more active, so that's a little disturbing. Keep an eye on that. In men's basketball, finally here, Gonzaga, Purdue, Texas Tech, and Virginia advanced in the men's tournament on Thursday. Check out the scoreboard on pretty much any sports site if you don't know that already, which I'm pretty sure you do. Finally, just very quickly, actually, I think all I got to say to you is have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Listen to our new episode of Newsflash, possibly a new episode of For the Win coming for you on that time. Keep listening to the Spencer Welsh Radio Network, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.